Hey cosplayers, if you're catching this video on YouTube or Facebook, make sure to go to the link in the description and enroll in the F.O.R.G.E workshop so that you can get access to all the PDF resources that are mentioned in these videos. Why are some cosplayers able to create costumes and props quickly and easily, while others are overwhelmed by the process? Why do some effortlessly create professional level detail while others spend hours and hours yet fall short of achieving the same result? And why are some people able to continually improve their skills while others plateau? In this free workshop, I'll share the answers to those questions so you can cosplay like a boss. Hi, my name is Skylar Osler, founder of the Build Guild and creator of the Cosplay Apprentice, which through YouTube and live events has empowered millions to forge their fandoms. Welcome to my brand new video workshop, the F.O.R.G.E. In this video, you're going to discover a process for creating costumes and props quickly and easily. This is going to immediately help you organize the chaos. Once you get this down, you'll start experiencing the freedom that comes from building with intention. So, if you're new to cosplay, but you aren't getting the finished look you want, or you're an experienced cosplayer that isn't leveraging the time the way you should, stay with me because you're going to discover why cosplayers like you and me can get the freedom that comes from building with intention, and why it's critical you get a process handled right now. The goal of this workshop is simple: to help you easily cosplay like a boss. Today I'll show you the first step by helping you organize the chaos so you can have the freedom that comes from building with intention. And that will give you a greater opportunity to experience less stress in your builds. Are you ready to make this happen?
Yeah!
Before we dig in, I've got to warn you about something critically important. And not paying attention to this virtually guarantees building your own costumes will feel like a burden. Right now, you might think you have to be an experienced artist or create everything from scratch. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if instead you could leverage your skills and those of the cosplay community around you to cosplay like a boss regardless of your perceived artistic skill? I get that this may be pretty different from what you've heard before about cosplay, but this fundamental shift is one reason why this process works so well. In fact, you might have already tried to organize the chaos, and it didn't work out the way you'd hoped. Today, you'll see how to do this in a whole new way. I'm sure you'll agree, trying to cosplay like a boss isn't always simple as some people make it seem. It comes with its challenges, like maybe you had no idea what tools or materials to use, felt like you weren't talented enough to do a character justice, or even been afraid of failing or being judged and gave up before you even started. You wonder, will I ever be good at this? If this sounds familiar, I get it. So many of us cosplayers have felt the same way. We've heard that little voice of doubt in our head, wondering if it's possible. And I'm here to show you it is. That's why in this video, I'm going to demystify the process of building a cosplay, which will save you lots of time and frustration. In this first video, I'm going to share a process that I've developed after years of trial and error. It's called F.O.R.G.E. If building your own costume feels like a burden, this will serve as a tremendous resource to eliminate that frustration and help you organize the chaos. Maybe you're new to cosplay, or maybe you're an experienced cosplayer. Either way, you're in the right place because after this video, you'll know how to organize the chaos and take back the joy in forging your favorite fandom. I developed this framework for you because I saw so many cosplayers become completely sidetracked while trying to get the finished look they want. For example, I saw cosplayers who were new to cosplay jump straight into cobbling something together without taking the time to actually plan the cosplay. And if you're an experienced cosplayer and you aren't leveraging your time the way you should, it's often because the right process isn't in place. And to be honest, that was my story too. Before I outline F.O.R.G.E and the specifics for each step, you might be wondering how I got into all this and figured it out. Let me tell you so you understand where it's coming from. It started when I went to my first con and realized that I wanted to create legit costumes and props like all the amazing cosplayers there. But I wasn't sure if I could spend enough time working on the cosplays because I was so busy working a full-time job, doing school, and spending time with my wife and kids. And to be honest, while I had gone all out on some Halloween costumes before, I had no idea how to produce the quality I saw at the convention or online. On top of that, I figured it would be too expensive to invest in the tools and materials to get that to that level. If any of this sounds familiar, let me tell you, I know exactly what it's like. I felt overwhelmed and even questioned myself whether I could do it. But I took the plunge and I started learning and experimenting with different inexpensive materials. While I was able to make some cool stuff, the materials took a lot of time to work with, and I wasn't getting the super profesh look I was hoping for. Then I found EVA foam, and the heavens opened. It was inexpensive, easy to work with, minimal tools, and the finished products looked great. I was creating great looking stuff, and it was faster to work with than any other material I tried. But there was still a problem. My foam builds were taking more time than I had. I was having to redo pieces because of mistakes. I was wasting precious foam, getting overwhelmed and lost in my builds, and even after I finished it, there would be something on the build I wasn't happy about. I was tired of spinning my wheels and knew that creating an organized process was key to getting what I was after. So I set out to find a way to make it happen. Once I got past my objections and began investing in myself, I started seeing massive growth. And I did what I set out to do. Now I know exactly how to create costumes and props quickly and easily. This let me organize the chaos and make great professional builds, which is exactly what I was going for. And if you're ready for less stress in your builds too, you're going to love what's coming up. Because this story doesn't stop with me. Everything I'm about to share with you is the exact plan I followed to create costumes and props quickly and easily. And it's led me to have a clear outline for every build I do. More importantly, this means you'll experience less stress in your builds, and that's exactly what I want for you. All cosplayers could use that, which is why I want to make this easy for you. So coming up, I'll share just how to do it. The purpose of F.O.R.G.E is to help you quickly create props and costumes with intention, so that you can organize the chaos and do what you really love, create. To get started, I created a simple PDF to help you keep notes and to provide even more value from this training. You'll see the download link on this page. Hit pause on the video so you can download your own copy. Once you're ready, let's continue. So as we go through each part of the process, I want you to identify obvious areas of opportunity for your current situation. You ready? Let's get started. F.O.R.G.E, an appropriate acronym for the process to create armored costumes and props, don't you think? This is a mnemonic device to help you remember the steps to follow in your cosplay builds. Let's jump in and cover what each letter stands for and examples for the actions one would do in each step. The F stands for Find Your Framework. This can be the heavy lifting stage depending on what path you take. First action is to decide what character you're going to be cosplaying and what piece of their costume you will be starting with first. Second action is pick your pattern. By that, I mean, will you leverage an already existing pattern or make your own? Choosing an already existing pattern can be super helpful in saving you a lot of time and legwork while still allowing you to be the one to build it. If you choose to make your own pattern, that's great as well, and it gives you lots of freedom, but it will be a bit more work up front. If you're making your own, this step will involve a bit more actions with things like gathering reference images, figuring out and acquiring the needed materials to make the piece, and of course creating your own template or pattern. The O stands for Organize. The type of actions you'll do in this step are things like getting everything together in one place, tracing patterns onto your materials, cutting out the pattern pieces and marking them, sorting them in an organized manner. The R stands for Revisit. In this step, some of the actions you might see would be checking your work, test fitting the piece to check the scale by taping the pieces together with painter's tape, or also adding any details you can while it's flat and easy to work with. The G stands for Glue. Essentially, this is where you assemble your pieces together. Whether you're actually gluing them or sewing them or sticking them together, your main action is just assembling the pieces together. Taking your time on this step is a good thing to remember to do as well. The E stands for Embellish. Lastly, this is where you will do the things like fine details you couldn't do before, doing finishing touches like battle damage, or giving it a sweet paint job. Framework, Organize, Revisit, Glue, Embellish. F.O.R.G.E. F.O.R.G.E. Something to keep in mind is that this process is meant to be repeated for every piece of the character's costume. So for example, if you're making Wonder Woman's armor, you would follow this process for the tiara, then you would follow the process for the breastplate, then you would follow the process for the bracers, etc. This helps you have a laser focus on one thing and helps you get through the whole build faster by concentrating your efforts on one piece at a time. This helps decrease a significant amount of error and helps catch problems early on that can be devastating later. Sometimes in the middle of this process, you may feel that it's counterintuitive and takes even longer or feel tempted to stray from the process. But I promise that in the long run, it helps you speed up your builds and also produces a higher quality finished product. Now that you're clear about how to create costumes and props quickly and easily, the big question is, How do you get over your fear of failure and dive in and grow your skill set as quickly as possible? Hands down, this is the most important key to growth for cosplayers. If you can't implement techniques, then you will struggle to grow your skill set as quickly as you would like. And without this, it means that you'll be dealing with a lot of trial by error. What if instead you could spend a little more time up front doing it right and save tons of time on the back end? This doesn't mean having to work much harder, it's about working smarter. A way better result for the same amount of effort. It's possible. Now, how do you get over your fear of failure and grow your skill set as quickly as possible? That's exactly what I'll show you in the next video. If you're new to cosplay, this will serve as the foundation so you can see the quickest way to grow your skill set. If you're an experienced cosplayer, then you'll be able to quickly put this into practice and implement techniques. Once you know exactly what to do, you'll see it's easy to take the plunge and start building. And I'll show you how in the next video. Before we go today, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me, what would life look like if you were producing foam cosplays that you felt super confident about? How will life be different when you are able to organize the chaos in your builds? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to read every comment and I'll respond to as many as I can. We'll also be doing live Q&As tomorrow and Monday on the Cosplay Apprentice Facebook page to help answer all your questions before video 2 comes out on Tuesday. And if you found this video useful, please share it on Facebook, Twitter, or even by sending a friend the URL to this page. What you've learned here today is that foam rocks and F.O.R.G.E is a simple process for creating costumes and props. It's a game changer in helping you cosplay like a boss. It's a key step along the way in reaching your goal. And that's when you can finally organize the chaos. And more importantly, have less stress in your builds. And what you're learning in this workshop puts you on the right path to get there. Next up, we'll talk about the materials, tools, and implementation techniques that will help you grow your skill set as quickly as possible. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Cosplay on, my friends.